Welcome back to the Long Way Back podcast. I'm your host, Timmy Long, and today, as co-host, we have Tommy. Hi, Tom.
Yeah.
Today we've an old neighbour from our Cullen, Holly Hill, Joy Harrington. Joy, how are you, girl?
Not bad.
Joy is going to share her story of addiction and everything that goes with it, you know. And there's no better person to introduce yourself than yourself, Joy.
Yeah.
How's it going, girl?
Hi. All's good. Bit nervous now, tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sick now all morning, like, but it's grand. My own name is Joy Harrington. I'm from the north side originally. I have 2 brothers, 3 sisters.
How was it like for you growing up, Joy? What was the dynamic of the family growing up?
I suppose we got dealt a bad hand really, starting off. Like both my parents deceased early. When I was 3 years of age. I suppose my mum would have had cancer, you know, and it was gone for a while. She was in remission and it came back. She was pregnant with my younger sister, you know, so obviously she couldn't take medication or anything like that.
Okay.
My dad died of a heart attack 6 months before, so he died first. And then 6 months later, my mother passed away.
All in the space of 6 months?
All in the space of 6 months.
Natural causes, heart attack and cancer.
Heart attack and cancer. She had cancer in the bowel.
And was she just after a baby?
Yeah, she had my sister in October and she died in the March.
Fuck. That's a tough one. And how many of you were left there then?
6 of us.
So your
6
2
kids,
brothers?
My 2 brothers.
And the 4 girls?
4 girls. So my younger sister, Susan, would have went straight. My younger sister went straight to my uncle. They adopted her straight away. My 2 older sisters would have went with another aunt up in the north side, and I moved out to Douglas with another aunt, and the 2 boys then were at home in the family home. And I suppose I moved back up to the family home then when I was 12, 13, and my brother looked after me. My 2 sisters ended up, they were living there as well, so we were all back in the family home.
Did you know what was after happening even as a young child?
No, like I knew my parents were dead, like, you know what I mean? But I didn't know much. And I suppose it was the older I was getting, the more inquisitive I was getting. I felt like I didn't know much about them. I felt like I was trapped in my own mind, you know, even from a very young age, like, you know, I didn't trust no one, you know. So I kept all the thoughts inside. And I suppose when I started drinking then, you know, 13, 14, you know, when you're young, like, you have to remember when I moved up to Knockneeny, I had a twang.
So you were from Douglas?
So I was like reared out in Douglas, and then I was moved back up to the north side. So I was like out of place in a way, like, you know, I got an awful slag. And
we speak
like,
differently from the in the north side,
like
the city,
I had a tone
to
and
the other
everything,
side,
like, you know. And my sister will always say I moved up to the north side and I turned into a scumbag overnight, you know. And she wouldn't be wrong in a way, like, you know.
Well, she was just looking to fit in somewhere, really.
Do you know what? Now I was trying to fit in, and I suppose trying to people please, that would have been always a big thing for me. Like, I didn't like myself, you know, so I tried to cling on to the friends. I suppose when I moved back up to the family home, I felt like I didn't fit in. Now, they were my brothers and sisters, like, but I didn't know them. You know, to be fair, like, I wouldn't have seen them much growing up, you know, so that had an impact on me, like, you know, and I had an impact on them as well, like.
That's like, yes, that's tough for a young person to get on with, like, moving back, you know, moving back in with siblings that you've been away from for so long, and then knowing that they have been together, you kind of feel like you're different a little bit, even though they probably didn't feel like that, and they fucking loved you, and they loved having you around there and having you home, but because like as young people, kids, we don't understand what's going on for us in the environment. I had no
connection with them, like, that's what it was. I didn't have a connection with myself, but I didn't have a connection with them either, like, you know. I didn't feel like I belonged, you know. They'd hold me, they loved me, but I never believed them, you know. And I suppose they were like trying to guide me, but I never listened. I thought I knew it all. I had a chip on my shoulder, like, you know, and I thought the world was against me. I didn't want to trust anyone, like, you know. I thought everyone was out to get me, you know, so I get them before they hurt me. You know, was my kind of attitude, like. And I suppose when I drank, because I kept so much inside, I'd end up fighting, like.
You all came out.
You know what I mean? It would all come out, like.
You're angry.
I suppose I thinking back, like the teenagers, they weren't too bad, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having a bit of banter, and I suppose it was just the older I got, the more, like when I drank, I got angry, like, you know, and I suppose I got introduced to drugs, do you know what I mean? And in my mind, they balanced me out. Do you know, I'd take coke, do you know what I mean? And I'd be out at a session, like, you know, I wouldn't be fighting with no one, I wouldn't be starting.
I was actually quite similar to that, believe it or not. I when I had a drink in me, I always end up in a cell full of blood the next morning. Remember, Tommy? Always like full of blood, waking up in the complete horrors, not remembering what I'm after doing the night before. And looking at the phone, about 40 missed calls then. And the fear then kept in. But when I had cocaine then, when I was introduced to cocaine then, after that, it was like, whoa. It was like I was able to be conscious. I was able to drink as much as I wanted, snort cocaine. It gave me confidence. I was able to stay up. I felt great. But I could never stop. Yeah. That was my problem. No matter what I touched, I always wanted more. Like even the teenagers, I'd buy loads of drink. I probably wouldn't drink it all, but just the fear that I'd have enough there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just had to make sure. I'd be bound loads of rounds or whatever. Like, do you know what I mean? I mightn't drink them. Once I knew they were. You were always making sure that it was there, making sure that I wouldn't run out, like, do you know? And I always had to have a slab and a bottle of spirits after the pub. My thinking was started fucking, you know, from a young age anyway. Like even, I lived in the past. Do you know, I suppose the older I got, the teenagers, I was thinking about my mum and dad, fantasising, you know, the life. Why me? What did I do to deserve this was my thinking, like, you know. And I would have been jealous of my sisters, like, because they had a close relationship, like, you know. With my younger sister, I would have seen her twice a week, like, you know what I mean? But it wasn't enough. Like, even our family, we're not the lovey-dovey type. Yeah. Do you know how we deal with our emotions and slag will insult each other, like, do you know what I mean? We didn't know how to. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose for a family that went through an awful lot of loss. We can relate to that, Tommy. Yeah, definitely. We can, because we grew up, you know our story. Yeah. We grew up not really understanding how family behave with each other. Like we killed each other, we slaughtered each other. And it's like Tommy likes to say all the time, you fucking killed us. Right? He wouldn't be wrong. It was always good intention. I was only trying to mind him. Like. I know.
It never worked. So you should have gave up.
I know. Like myself. My intent, but like as you kind of get older, then it changes. You know, when someone gets into abstinence around alcohol and drugs, and they start recovering from mental health, and their well-being is getting better and better because of their understanding of themselves and their background and their history. Relationships can be built in, and bonds can be built, and healing can happen only if people are on the same level. Yeah, and I actually didn't think that would happen. You know, when you hear that, you know, when you're coming into recovery and all the things that you get back, I didn't. I thought it was too far gone. Like, you know what I mean? A million miles away from like. So I was getting sober a million miles away once upon, you know. Who would have thought the three of us would be sitting at a table here 10 years, 12 years ago? Jesus, not at all. I thought I'd be dead. Yeah.
Even alive. I don't know how I'm alive.
I'm the same.
Always looking down on me.
And I always say to my mum and dad, like, you know, we were like that. I get feelings and sensations, and it just reminds me that they're around, like, you know what I mean? You know, they're still with me in spirit. Like, I put myself in so many situations.
Do you know, in your teens when you did move back into the family home, was school something that was something you were enjoying, or was it just another thing that kind of created?
I was a messer, like. Yeah. I was a messer in there, like, but I was well capable of doing the work, but I couldn't be bothered. Yeah. Like, I actually left 6 weeks before my leaving start.
Oh, fuck.
6 weeks left. I kept ringing my brother trying to get me to go back up, and couldn't be bothered. Yeah. You know?
It was probably the thoughts of doing the leaving cert too.
I just couldn't be bothered. I couldn't be fucking bothered.
How was the drinking drug situation at that age?
Well, I would have been fucking drinking at the weekends or going up, like, I'd be going up Knockney, like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't heavy, but I'd say 17, 18, you know, I started getting my way. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I was getting the taste of it, like. You know, and I'd be out robbing, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Out.
That was part of it.
The robbing started even before I ever picked up. Even when I was living out in Douglas, them behaviours were there, like, I was struggling, like, do you know what I mean? But I couldn't open my mouth.
Kind of like, why go to school when I can be making money? Kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah.
No, it was a fucking attitude. I just thought I'd do what I wanted, and I wanted to make money.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Just going around getting lists off fucking the neighbours and everything, what I wanted, like.
I probably bought some of the stuff.
Do you know? That was later on when I progressed in my robbing.
How did it escalate from there, Joy?
I suppose it was the party scene. Being 18, like, do you know what I mean? 19, 20, going out, socialising, the clubbing. That's when the cocaine would have come into it and balanced it, like, but as I said, I could never get enough.
Mm.
Once everyone else would be gone home, and I'd still be looking for the party, or I'd still be at home using on my own, like, do you know, it was just, once I picked up the drink, the drugs would come into play, and I'd go for a few days, like, do you know what I mean?
Hand in hand, don't they?
Hand in hand, like.
Yeah. And how was all this kind of, were you even noticing that there was an issue at that stage?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was nothing wrong with it, like, that's what we all did.
Was
We
it
all
normal?
went out, like, I thought it was normal,
yeah.
like,
The
do you know what I
circle
mean?
we were all in was normal.
It was normal back then, like, do you know,
Back
but
then
like,
we used to go to St. Anne's on a Friday, and we wouldn't come out of there till Sunday night.
If you were able.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd have people coming down with drink and drugs. And,
Yeah.
but it wasn't normal because everyone else went home, like, do you know what I mean? But I wouldn't, like.
I remember back in the day, I'd be
drunk
on
in
6, 7, 8 days with no sleep, just using. People used to go home after 2 days and come back, and I'd be still at it 4 days later, and they'd join in for another 2 days and they'd go away, and I'd be still at it. I think the longest I went without sleep was about 8 or 9 days.
Yes.
Without sleep.
Yeah.
And that was just consistently using cocaine and drinking and taking tablets up and down and up and down and up and down, just sitting, complete psychosis now too, constantly. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. Do you know, I was completely mad. I was gone, but it escalates, doesn't it?
I was depressed over it then as well, like. Then I'd be getting, like, say, it'd be my mother's anniversary, and I put it on for my father. Then I'd be gone again, like, do you know what I mean? Always with the whip out. Do you know what I mean? And I have to fuck it up again, like. My fucking family, I put the fear of God in them. Do you know what I mean? Ringing, suicidal, this, that, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Not taking into consideration anything about them, like. It was all about me.
But that's part of
addiction.
addiction.
I know that. I know that now. Back then, like, do you know what I mean? I just thought I was a law unto myself. What I want to do, I do, and fuck everyone else.
It was everyone else's fault.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Fuck that. Wasn't me.
And I suppose...
Because I was a saucy pup, like, but I tell you, I wasn't.
Yeah.
My sister would say, like, I was, like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A cheeky little bitch, like.
It's not till we actually get sober ourselves when we have somebody that's caught up in addiction that we actually understand what they were going through because of our actions back in the day. You know, and I noticed I only noticed what damage and the effects of my actions back then were on my mother and Nicole, based on Tommy being active and John Paul being active, because my heart was broke over the two of them, you know, and I started to really kind of have a lot of compassion then, based on that, for people that really care. It's
different when you're on the other side.
It is.
Do you know what I mean? When you come away, like, do you know what I mean? And now you're the recovering addict, and someone you love is struggling in addiction, like, and you see what damage you would have done as well, like, do you know what I mean? The effects.
Do you know what my attitude was to Nicole and my mum back in the day? Will you ever fuck off and leave me alone and let me enjoy myself?
Yeah.
That was my attitude. I didn't know. I didn't know that I was, like, they were looking at me saying, like, is he really going to last another day? Like, in the state he's in. You know, is he going to fucking kill himself with the drugs, or is he going to fucking crash a car and be killed or kill someone else?
It's put into him, like.
Yeah.
Do you know?
So when did it really, really start taking off? You know, how did it develop on then into your 20s?
I was still out partying, I suppose, every weekend. Like, it wasn't even every weekend; it was every day. Do you know what I mean? It was progressed. I'd go robbing Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday to pay for what I owed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be out robbing everything. Drink, you name anything at all, like, I'd be out fucking robbing. And I suppose, I don't know, like, my head was just gone. I was just a party animal, just all I wanted to do, like. I suppose a good friend of ours passed away, you know, and that really affected me as well, like, because I was living with her, like, do you know what I mean, and her kids, like.
Remember that happening too?
And it did, like, I suppose, I never suffered the loss.
That was a big shock, wasn't it?
of my mum and dad, in a sense, do you know what I mean? But I thought I felt it with Tina.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because I was still fucked in the head, like, do you know what I mean? I was only when my brother passed, I suppose, I really got to know what grief felt like, do you know what I mean? But I suppose it was when Tina died, like, do you know what I mean? The head was gone again, like, and I was pregnant, do you know what I mean? And I thought in my mind, you know, I'll settle down now with the kids, like, do you know what I mean? I'll have the small one and be grand, like, and I won't be doing that. And I started doing it at the weekends, do you know what I mean? But then I started selling drugs. There was no longer robbing. Try my mother now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought in my mind, I'll just sell it. And that would feed my habit, like. Do you know?
As a lot of us do.
Yeah. What I'm trying to show you is this distorted thinking in my mind.
Yeah.
I now have a little child to look after. I'm not going to be fucking robbing anymore. I'm going to be a good mother, but I'm going to sell drugs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's the insanity, like.
Yeah.
Do you know my thinking? Like, I didn't have thinking. Do you know what I mean? I didn't see no wrong. And even with the coke, like, the coke was alright for a while, like, do you know what I mean? No, it did strip me of everything. But I suppose it was the heroin that got me. Do you know what I mean? Heroin, like. And that was something that I thought I'd never touch.
Yeah, like a
I
lot of people.
really didn't think, like, do you know what I mean? I remember the first time I touched it, I didn't touch it again for around 6 months. Do you know what I mean? And then when I did, I took off with it.
How fast did you take off with heroin, Joy?
Fairly fast.
And had you still one child at that stage?
I had 3.
3 at
so,
that stage?
Yeah. I had 3 kids. And I suppose when I started using the heroin, I started isolating myself, isolating the kids, stopped sending them to school. If I was sending them to school, I was sending them over, God knows how. Do you know, at home on the home anymore. And I tried, do you know, I have to say that, like, because I'd always be kicking myself, but I did try at the start. But it was just the drugs, do you know what I mean? I couldn't sit with myself. Couldn't sit with Joy, I didn't like Joy. Do you know what I mean? I could name fucking everything that I hated. So I had to fill myself with something. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't have to be ending them feelings. But the gear, like, it stripped me of everything. Like, our home became a drug home, a drug den. Do you know what I mean? There was people selling out store, like I was selling, do you know what I mean? And I suppose with my family, going back, like, when I was 18, I was like, do you know what I mean, be in contact, but I didn't want to be around them because they'd be telling me what to do. Do you know what I mean? So I didn't want any of that. And I suppose with the kids, they'd be calling up, and I suppose they got wind about the heroin, like, so they started doing checks up on me, and they did a family intervention. And of course, me being me, deny. Do you know what I mean? What are you on about? Because they knocked at the door, and my brother's first thing, I goes, what's the story? What's the story? The story is you're a junkie. Nah, no such thing. And I suppose, well,
how did you look at that stage, Joy? How physically?
There was nothing in me there. Like, the whole terrace knew I was fucked.
Yeah.
The whole terrace knew that I was fucked, but I didn't. I couldn't see it. I didn't think there was something wrong with me. Do you know?
That's addiction, though.
It's addiction, like. It grips you in every way, like.
The abnormal becomes normal.
Oh, there's a lot, like. And it was the kids, like, I suppose, my family, they would have been little checkups on me, blah, blah, whatever. And it came to a stage that my home, gosh, the guards came up and raided it. Do you know? The family were after coming up after that happened. And I suppose, you know, back then I got a fright, but I still didn't realise the severity of it. Do you know what I mean? And my sisters came back up the following day, and one of them came in, and they were like asking, can we take the kids? Because I'm a fiery woman, like, do you know what I mean? And they knew if one sister came in and said it to me, do you know, I could erupt. So they sent the choir one in, like, do you know, but I knew in a way it was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Do you know, it was like, but it was the hardest thing I'd ever had to do.
But you knew it was the right thing.
I knew,
even though it broke your heart.
It broke me. I'm telling you, it was the May long weekend, and they went away on the Saturday, and I just remember I was sobbing next to the car with my sister, and she was like, it's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I suppose there was an incident that happened that night because I was trying to stay away from the gear. And I just went drinking and taking tablets. And I don't want to say it was personally, but something could happen that, do you know what I mean? I suppose would have had big consequences. for me already what was going on, like, and my family wanted to get me into treatment, you know, and I agreed. I suppose I said I'd go, ticking the boxes. Not even ticking the boxes. Here I was. I love my kids. Do you know what I mean? I can do this for my children.
Do you know, before you go any further, just explain to people how much of a grip heroin can have on you when you're completely caught up in it. And I leave that to both of you, like, Tommy, because some people that might be listening to that mightn't be able to understand what we're talking about here.
Like Joy said there, that she smoked heroin once and then she didn't for 6 months, and you know, like, and then the second time you smoked it, it's a runaway gallop then, because it's like a switch goes off and it's just.
What does it do for you, Tommy?
I know, but the first time that you smoke, all you're doing is getting sick and sick and sick and sick,
itchy, and
you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like,
this?
Yeah.
But
you're
it's
like getting
where it
sick,
takes
and
you.
you're getting sick, and you're reefing, and you're getting sore, and you're getting scabby from itching yourself that much. But it's just that feeling that's behind all that is more powerful than anything in the world. You know, you hear people a lot saying it's better than sex. Like, but this is whatever feeling, what it does to you. It numbs you, takes you away from. You can't think, honestly.
Yeah.
You
Not
can't
at all.
think anything bad when you're on heroin. The only thing you'll be thinking of is getting more.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. You know?
That makes sense, don't it?
You don't be thinking about a problem of a day-to-day thing. You don't. The only thing that you think about is heroin. That's when it grabs you and it gets a hold of you. And that happens very fast. It happens very fast. Because like, if you're smoking,
and can you be protective of it? Can you be protected of the heroin when people are saying it's an issue and it's a problem for you?
Oh yeah. Like
That's the way it was for you, Joy.
Like,
say that again, sorry.
Can you be protective of heroin?
Oh, of course you can.
And as in, like,
Of course, yeah. You don't want to leave a go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's actually it's the one thing that's actually probably you're surviving on, that's keeping you alive, but also it's the same thing then that's destroying you.
In a way, like,
it becomes the thing inside you that makes you be able to live from day to day, isn't it? Because like if you're sick from heroin and you've no heroin, you can't do nothing. You can't get up, you can't dress yourself, you can't wash yourself, you can't do anything because you're so sick from it. But the first minute, like, you're getting runny noses, you're sweating, cold, hot, you're aching, and the first minute you get that into you, it's like.
Or even if you're going to get a bag.
Even if you're going to get it.
Now you've been dying sick, and you know that you're going up the score. There's an old pep in the step.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that a psychological thing, do you think?
Oh, definitely. Has to be like.
Like, you could be going there sweating, runny nose, coughing, the itch in your throat, and all the lining in your stomach is coming up before you go. And when you go, even to get it in your hand, that's gone. It's like you're safe.
Oh, okay.
It's like, I have it. Right?
It's like a bubble is wrapped around me now.
Of course, yeah.
You know you have it. Like when you haven't got it, it's a million miles away to get it. But when you get it, you're safe.
And just bringing you back there now, Joy, to that night, like, when you were trying to stay off the gear after the kids were gone, how did everything play forward from that? Like, 'cause I know you want to do the right thing.
Yeah, well, I had a blackout anyway. I couldn't remember nothing till my family came up around me the next day, like, and I suppose they wanted to give me the help and try and help me get in treatment and stuff like that. And I stayed with my sister for 1 or 2 days, and they eventually got me into Table Lodge, and I went out there, and I did 28 days out there. I left there and I was staying out in student accommodation. I suppose going back when my house got raided, it was after getting boarded up as well. I suppose I handed back my house because the way my family were looking at it, if you're serious about going away getting clean, you can't go back there. Do you know what I mean? With all this after happening there, like, so I just walked away from the house, like, you know, handed it back.
That's something that you have to do.
Yeah. It was the right thing back then, like, you know. And even going, like, Table Lodge, like, my family, I suppose, my kids were with my family, and they thought it was only for 28 days, you know. And it ended up being 8 and 9 years later before I got the kids home, like, you know, because I went to Table Lodge, did 28 days. I came out and I went to student accommodation because I had nowhere to stay. I couldn't stay with the family, they had the kids. And I stayed out there till I got a bed up in Renewal. And I went up to Renewal and I was doing okay up there for a while. I went on to the sober house. And I suppose stuff was going on for me.
Yeah.
And I wanted to drink. I wanted to go to the catwalk. Another 2 of the girls were going drinking as well. One of them didn't end up going. So me and another girl went drinking. She's actually my partner now. But we went drinking and got thrown out the next day on New Year's Day.
You went down a mad one that night, so.
Drinking inside, like, no compassion or anything for the rest of the fucking people in there, like, do you know what I mean, trying to recover. I was just thinking about myself. I couldn't cope what was going on inside me.
Yeah.
So I thought,
I can understand that.
it's the drink. Do you know what I mean? I need something. Not thinking of the consequences or not know at all, like, do you know what I mean? I just wanted to run. And that's what I did.
Because it's tough, isn't it?
Oh,
That's
I drank.
tough, that early stage of recovery.
And they fucked us out the next morning. And by 6 o'clock that evening, I was after getting arrested. Do you know?
Were you back in the heroin at that stage now?
No, like, in my mind, I always thought that it was just a drink for a while. And then the heroin was a few months later. And my partner said, no, it was about a month. About a month you were on the drink. And then you hit the heroin. Whereas I didn't think, I thought it was longer.
I hold that.
Like, when we got thrown out, I suppose for the first 2 weeks, I was just staying everywhere, anywhere at all I could get at. Do you know what I mean? Any nationality, didn't know who it was, once I had somewhere to go, and if they had drinking drugs. Do you know what I mean? And after 2 weeks, I went over to Simon. I didn't want to go in there at all. Do you know what I mean? I had never been fucking homeless, never inside in any of them organisations, like. And then the abnormal became the normal. Do you know? I suppose in my mind, I was after fucking everything up. I was sober and clean for around 6-7 months before I got fucked out of fucking Renewal. And I thought it was all over. And I ran with it. Do you know, I didn't see the kids for months, do you know, because I was drinking and using. It was like...
Just the hole just kept getting deeper and deeper, didn't it?
I thought there was no going back from it. I thought, like, this was it. I'm after digging a hole and now I'm homeless. My family, not that they didn't want anything got to do with me, but they had to give me tough love. Do you know what I mean?
They also had to protect the children as well.
Exactly, that was their number one. Like, and they would have, like, stopped going into town, like, do you know what I mean? Because I'd been around the streets in awful conditions. Do you know? And that, I thought that's what I deserved. Do you know, to be honest, like, I really did, like.
I know. That's because of the place you were in. And I was the same. I remember walking the streets, not having anywhere really to go, because I felt like that I didn't deserve to be anywhere, because I was hurting everybody around me. And it's a horrible feeling to walk in them streets and you're on crying.
I walked, me and my partner walked the streets, and that's all we had to do. Do you know what I mean? If we weren't around using with people, should be nothing else to do, like. And I suppose, like, we went back up to the treatment centre after Relapse. Like, we went back up with a load of vodka bottles, clink, 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 walking into the fucking treatment centre, like. And she would have said it's the worst relapse she ever seen, like, down through the fucking years, like. And we kept going.
To 100.
I suppose, for me, I was after relapsing. I'd feelings for another woman. Then I was trying to hide that part of me, do you know what I mean, when I wasn't fucked, when I was out around with people. And then when I was fucking out of it, I'd be all over, like, and it was the way I felt about myself. People would judge me, I judged myself, like, why, do you know what I mean? But, like, I suppose for me, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, I made a connection with her, do you know what I mean? And I suppose on a deeper level, do you know what I mean? We were homeless, like, do you know what I mean?
You went through
and
that,
I say that, but she wouldn't have really known an awful lot about me then either, in another sense, because I was so walled up. Ignoring and snippets, little snippets here and there when I'd be out of it, but I'd never leave you truly in, do you know? Didn't want to get hurt. Do you know? That was my thinking, like, don't leave no one hurt you, don't trust no one, like.
That's what a lot of people do who have suffered maybe some form of traumatic experience in their life.
Yeah.
In order for them to protect themselves, they close up completely. The trust is
always
gone.
like that, like, even with my looks, like, I'd be fucking giving you dirty looks and I wouldn't even realise it, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be an odd little bitch. I didn't think I was, like, but I would, like, and I'd turn, like you said, it was like a little switch would go off my head. Do you know what I mean? And I'd be psychotic, like.
I can relate to that, Tommy, can't I? You can yourself. We'd often be at a party with him there. Tommy be staring at you like that, across the room. And I was, people come to see and say, Tommy.
Joy, no, it's Joy.
Timmy
nearly growling at Joy.
Timmy said, Tommy's staring at me there for the last half an hour there. He says, am I all right here? Like, and he said, oh, grand boy. I look at him, he said, Tommy, stop. What the fuck is wrong with you? The cop on. One boy. That's where I get back. I tell you one side my gap one night. I fucking twisted now, right? Living in a house, I won't even say where I was living now because the people might bring me to court. But I'm sitting down there and I'm looking at him and I'm fucking well on now and he's sitting across me and I'm next to him. I can hear this little trickling fucking water, so I'm looking around the place, seeing as someone after me come flooding the bathroom or whatever. Next time looking, oh, your man is looking at me, cold-blooded straight into the face. Right? Next I look over and there was this water trickling off the couch. It was a leather couch and the water dripping off the couch. And I said, what the fuck? Where the fuck is that coming? I look at him and he has this big wet fucking thing in his pants. Right? Your man is pissing himself, staring at me straight yes, the couch. I swear I was like Linford fucking Christie running across the room. I grabbed him.
He definitely lied.
Yeah. You wouldn't do nothing like that, Tom.
I had to give him a few counters to wake him up properly as well. And I fucking
Stuff.
you know, but like the madness, but going back to what we were saying, the look that you give people.
Yeah.
I was the same. I was fucking.
I'd look through you.
We were angry.
Yeah.
We had a lot of hurt. We were really hurt.
And you were just scary.
Tell the truth, yeah.
I wanted to look at all, but you were like,
I was
growling at people.
Listen, it was what it was.
Yeah.
You know, it was for all of us.
Yeah, of course.
We didn't know what was going on with ourselves, but you know what we thought the look was doing for us, protecting
Keeping people
us.
away. Yeah. Keeping
people
away. Yeah.
away.
And
Don't
that's
come
what
near
it
me.
was.
Yeah.
Like that was probably the first year of probably maybe you were in recovery for about 7 months, and then you went on this mad relapse.
Yeah.
Theory. Like, where did that what kind of avenue did that go for you then?
Well, I suppose the organisations were trying to keep us away from each other.
Okay.
So we were in Simon first, and then they sent me over to Edel House. Then we were in Gateway together. Then I would have been in Simon, Edel House. I was kind of ping-ponging off all of them, like Shanaway. The whole lot of them, like, I'd be going through, like, you wouldn't be paying your rent in one place, do you know what I mean? You'd be getting fucked out or fucking starting or all different fucking things, like, do you know what I mean? But it's heavy going, like.
Yeah.
It's heavy
There's
going.
no
and
real structure there
there's
for you to get any.
oftentimes
Yeah.
I stayed out in the street, like, do you know what I mean? Many a night. I'd be staying up the church there up by the train station. Because you wake up on Sunday morning with a few pounds.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Same with the one over. Like, I suppose at the start, you'd be going around other people in Simon. So he's paid there on the Tuesday. We go with him. Do you know what I mean? We all look after each other that kind of way. Like, and
That's how
eventually,
it works. Like,
yeah.
That's how that works.
but eventually I was sitting down with a cup.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's where
And
it
it
brought you.
started on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then eventually I was sitting down in the middle of fucking Patrick Street with a cup, like.
How did you feel?
I tell you, like, fucking piece of shit. I always remember one of my sister's friends, I was sitting down outside Debenhams, and she was after coming over around Christmas time. She was like, Joy, what are you doing? I have to get money for the kids for Christmas. She was like, your sister wouldn't want you doing that. No such thing, it was just for drugs. But I could use the excuse that the kids are this and that, whatever, like, do you know what I mean? But I was just strung out. That's all I knew, like, do you know what I mean?
And you know what? I think that's a very, very important point, right? And I always, you know, when I see somebody, and I always keep these things to myself. But when I'm walking past somebody that's sitting on the street with a cup, right? I know exactly why they're sitting there, right? It's not for food.
No.
It's not for the kids. It's not for a B&B.
No,
it's
the
for
usual,
drugs,
yeah.
right? But you know, I still, if I have it in my pocket, I will still give whatever I have, right? And the reason I do it is because of what you just said and how you felt. I don't want anybody to feel like that low, full of shame, with the head down. There's no human being like fucking deserves to feel like that. And that's why I do it. And I know where the money's gone. You know, it's gone to fucking some drug dealer or whoever.
Of course.
But I don't like if somebody can take somebody up off the floor for an hour or two from the way and score or get a fucking few cans.
Yeah.
So be it, like that's the way I feel and
Cause like
I don't want to be making myself out to be some fucking angel or saint here, but that's just my mentality around it because it breaks my fucking heart to see someone
people judge you already for being an addict. So then when you're a homeless addict, people judge you automatically, like, do you know what I mean? You're looked down on.
So yeah, like I always like to try to give people that are home sitting down that really don't understand how it feels for somebody that is on the streets.
Yeah.
How it actually feels for that person that's on the streets. And even when they're going to be listening to your story now in relation to how you ended up on the streets, it will give them a better understanding of why somebody ends up in the streets. It's not a choice that somebody has.
No.
It's a kind of whole life existence, different things that happen in someone's life.
It's very easy to go off the road, like, do you know what I mean? And get caught up in any addiction and all, like, do you know what I mean? Doesn't have to be fucking drugs, like. You can get caught up in anything. Food, do you know what I mean? Shopping, like. Unfortunately for me, it's the drugs, like. Do you know?
And do you know, like, how long did that last? Like,
I was 4 years on the streets.
4 years.
Yeah. Before I went to treatment.
And like, did you?
Like in that 4 years, I suppose, like, I can remember bits and pieces, like, do you know what I mean? But like, it was manic for the first while, do you know what I mean? And it was months before I seen the kids. Then I started seeing the kids getting up in social worker's office. I suppose my journey with the kids was long, like, you know. I'd start seeing them, you know, once a month at the start, and slowly things.
You were still on the streets at this time, Joy?
Still on the streets, yeah. So I'd come up, like, and I'd be seeing the kids up in the library. At the social worker's office first, then moved from there over to the library, and then I was able to venture up as far as the planet. I suppose I was going up pretending that I was doing well. You know, I would have been.
How was the
dabbling?
Use?
I'd be dabbling, so like I could be using the gear for so long, and then I'd switch. Do you know what I mean? The funky skunk. It was the money as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if you some days there you had nothing, and you'd be dying sick. Do you know what I mean? And you were on about the heroin a while ago. It's the insanity, but like you'd be trying to stay away from it. Do you know what I mean? And you could get so far after a few days, and you'd nearly be towards the end of the line over the sickness, and then you're gone again, like. You'd be like, why would you? And and I've often done that, like, what, not having drugs, like, and you'll be in the fucking horrors, and then you just go away and get more, like, you know.
And like, I'm presuming at this stage, you also know that you're caught up in a whole pattern, in a whole system of just recurrent, just drug use the streets, begging, robbing, whatever you have to do to fucking get money. You know, I've done a whole lot of it myself. Like, I'm sure there was many points, like, during that period, Joy, that you could have easily died. Number one, from a drug overdose, you know, or fucking maybe conflict with somebody else in the streets, you know, and even look back at that now yourself, right? And I always say this to everybody. When we do look back at our life in addiction and we look at times that another human being would absolutely be dead, considering what we went through, it actually shows us that we're actually very, very lucky human beings, and there's a bigger purpose for our lives.
Blessed in the word, especially towards the end, because my body couldn't take it anymore. I suppose my memory don't be the best, but I know
sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah. Oh, like what I can remember is bad enough. Like, but I suppose I was trying to sort myself out and working with the key workers inside in the place that I was like, and I decided to go back and do my leaving cert. Madness. I suppose in between that 4 years, say after around 3 years, give or take, I got a place, an apartment through the Simon. So that was up in Blackpool. At that time I was doing Besbra. I don't even know how I used to go down there. Sometimes because at the same time I was detoxing from the methadone. The flat was the coldest flat in the world. I'm telling you, it was fucking horrible up there. And I suppose I'd be trying to stay away from the gear. I'd be coming down off the methadone. I'd be taking fucking tablets for a fucking few weeks and switching back over again. And anytime I used the heroin, the gear, my body couldn't take it. And I'd be overdosing. And I suppose down that apartment, it would have been one of the worst times of the overdoses for me. Like, it was only for a neighbour next door, like, you know what I mean? He kept my heart going. You know, at that time, like, my partner said I was blue. I was gone, like. There was 3 ambulances came up, like, and I'm sure they gave me 7 shots into the heart, like. And the insanity of it, I fucked them out of it when I came around. And I was looking for another bag. You don't even realise, like, you know what I mean, that you're gone. You don't, like, it's just like, it's lights out, and then you come back around. And then I'm looking for more. Did I like the cheek of them? I'd be thinking, like, you know, and I suppose they took me out of that apartment, and they put me into the apartments on the front of the Simon, Riverview, and I OD'd in there again. And then they brought me into the Simon, OD'd again, like, I suppose.
When I was looking for a way out. Was it like not intentionally, but it would
at the end, yeah?
It really doesn't matter, like when you wake up or not.
I walked up in front of the car, like, because I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't. The head couldn't take it. The body couldn't take it. It kept on giving up on me, and my mind was like fucked. I was like, I just wanted out. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go around the streets, like, and I suppose when I was in the Simon, I actually studied for my leaving cert in there, like, and that was hard. Number one, I didn't want to do it. Do you know what I mean? I was after fucking relapse, gonna do after bringing me back. I thought they were the worst in the world. Like, I remember one of the key workers down there, he wasn't even a key worker, but he was a main fella, and he contacted the social workers about me overdosing, and I fucked him out of it. Like, how fucking dare you? Like, you know what I mean? They weren't on me. Why are you causing trouble? That was my mentality. Not thinking, like, you know what I mean? They had to fucking know, like, if I was after going for a visit with the kids or nothing. Back then I couldn't see her. And I suppose the social worker brought me down to the office, and she said she was going for an 18-year care order. I was like, I tell you now, my heart shattered again, like, I didn't use that day.
What's an 18-year care order?
So,
just explain.
Basically, that the kids had gone till they're 18, that they wouldn't be returning home. I suppose previously it started out.
And there's no change in that then when it's in place, is there, Joy?
You can revoke it, but it's very, very hard.
Okay.
It's very, very hard to do that, like, but it can be done. What's this on there?
You were just on about that broke your heart when
that broke my heart, and that day I didn't use. I went down to Edel House because that's where I was staying at the time, and I remember I cried and cried like a baby. And I used the next day, don't get me wrong, but that night I was devastated. I was like, oh my God, like, you know what I mean? What am I after doing? Like, they're gone, like. And I suppose the kids, I didn't feel I had a relationship with them, like, because I'd be going, sometimes I'd be stoned when I'd be going off to visit them, but I didn't want to be there. I was going off to visit them, but I was thinking about my next fixed, or what I was going to do next, or where I was going, or who had what. So I wasn't actually actively present with the kids, like, you know what I mean? They were an inconvenience, I suppose, at times, like, you know what I mean? When I was using like that, it was, I'd go up and visit them, like, you know what I mean? But I wasn't thinking about them at all, like. And I suppose sometimes then, that's all I thought about, do you know what I mean? But I could pick and choose when I want to think about my kids. So I wanted to be using, I wasn't thinking about them at all. All that was going into my mind was drinking and drugs. Whatever I was going to get, like. And I suppose when the social worker did that, like, I don't think it was straight away, right? You know, I kept on using, but I suppose I wanted to change. I was doing the leaving cert, as I said, like, I was linked up with Arba House, I was detoxing. I didn't think I was capable of going to treatment, to be honest. I thought I was going to fuck up, like, but I didn't. I suppose I went up to Dublin. Like, I remember my key worker was talking about treatment, and she was like, what about pool mine? Do you know what I mean? 6 months, blah, blah, blah. I can't go for 6 months. What am I going to do about the kids? That was my thinking, like, but I wasn't seeing them half the time. And I suppose eventually I was thinking to myself, I couldn't do it. My head couldn't do it. And I said, try it. Just try it. Do you know what I mean? There's no harm in going up, because you have to do something. It's either that or I was going to fucking die on the streets. And that was the reality of it, like, and I didn't want to die. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And then other times I did. It depended on the frame of mind that I was thinking, like. And I went up to Dublin. It was the best thing I ever did. Do you know? Even going up there the first day, I wanted to run. Because I suppose, like, Cool Mine is, for anyone that don't know, it's a behavioural programme. They kind of talk their own language up there, like, do you know what I mean? It's an awful lot of pulling up. Do you know what I mean? Behaviours on each other, like, so you're like, what the fuck am I after walking into, like, do you know? But it's brilliant the way they have it run, like, it's actually peer-led. Do you know what I mean? The staff are on site, like, do you know what I mean? It's all the peers that fucking do the work, like, do you know what I mean? And designating different jobs, do you know what I mean? And you work your way up in it, like. And I suppose I was shitting coming back down to Cork. Do you know, my time had come, like. I suppose when I was up there for 10 months. So I did phase 1 and phase 2. I suppose normally in phase 2, you would have somewhere to stay, like. I didn't have nowhere to stay. Like, people go home at the weekends. So I stayed up in Ashley House in the women's apartment site, you know, the mothers. Yeah. So it was handy. The kids, I was coming down once a week to see them, like. I used to be going down to the kids, like, and I didn't know how to talk to them. I didn't know how to communicate with them. And, like, I suppose even with the phone calls, like, they were young. Like, you know, everything was, yeah. You get nothing out of them, like. I didn't think they wanted anything got to do with them. Do you know what I mean? I thought I was after fucking her up, like. Like, they were young when they went with my sisters, like, do you know what I mean? And my brother, like, they were, Caden was 4, Jade was 3, and Cole was 22 months, like. So they were very young, like, and everything they knew was my family, like. Yeah. And I resented my family back then. No, don't get me wrong. At the time, I was delighted that they didn't go into care. Do you know what I mean? And they went with family. I suppose from my own experiences growing up and not having a connection with my brothers and sisters, I didn't want that for them, like, do you know? And thank God they were very, very good with them. But I suppose for me, I didn't know. And that made me worse than, like, you know what I mean? Because I couldn't hear there. These are my own kids, and I actually can't talk to them, like, getting so messed up, like. And even them, like, you know, it's hard for them as well, like, because I was their mum, but I wasn't there, you know. It was hard on all of us, to be fair, like, you know what I mean? My sister, like, my son calls her mum, you know. He didn't even want to come home. And that was something that I struggled with as well. You know, and I know I'm jumping ahead and jumping back now, like, I'm conscious of that as well, like. I suppose when I came to it, I didn't know whether I was doing the right thing, you know, bring them home, like. And for my family as well, they were, like, grieving a child that was still there, like, you know what I mean, because they were going back with me, like.
But it sounds to me that you really had a good understanding of how you wanted things to work out, which was mainly get your kids back, but you also understood how it was feeling for your family who had the kids for so long and
not at the start. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? That came with time, like, you know, I suppose. Back then I didn't have a great relationship with my family, like, you know, for the way that I was, like, and for me, like, and I suppose I had to build it up as well, like, you know. I remember before I went to treatment, I met one of my sisters. I contacted her and asked her, would she meet me? I met her down in the Commons. And, like, the way I went in, do you know what I mean? I was pure down and out, dirty, and I felt like nothing. I felt like I was embarrassing her, I was embarrassing me, and I was just broken. And I was just raw and crying, saying, I need help, I need to do something, like. And I'd never go to my family with anything like that. but I felt like I was going to die in the streets. Either me or my partner was going to die. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose I finished that relationship, do you know, because I didn't think that we could get clean together, do you know, so I had to walk away, and that was hard in itself too as well, like, you know. That's all we knew for the past 4 years was each other, like, do you know. So walk away, I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken, like, do you know what I mean? But at that time, hand in my heart, I thought I was going to die, do you know. And I wanted to at least try. Do you know, I remember Arbor House. I used to be going up there, like, and they had to believe in me before I had it in myself, like, do you know, because I was so used to all my life doing well for a little while and fucking up, like, do you know what I mean? Not thinking ahead, like, do you know what I mean? Or doing it Joy's way. It was always Joy's way, do you know what I mean? And not thinking of the consequences. As I said, I lost my kids and I kept going. Do you know what I mean? I thought my whole life was upside down, and it was upside down. And I didn't think I'd come back out of it. And that's the truth.
So, like, a lot of people in early recovery have to deal with their stuff, okay? So you were dealing with your stuff. You were dealing with the stuff from the years in the streets. You were dealing with the stuff, the emotional stuff from childhood, a lot of different things, the motherhood stuff. And you're also dealing with the stuff around the kids.
Like, I was only up in treatment.
Tough one.
I went up to treatment on the 1st of February, and I think it was the May I was back down again in court for the kids, because the social worker was looking for an 18-year care order. To me, like, when I went into the treatment centre first, they didn't see me for the first 6 weeks. I actually couldn't lift my head up. I was so full of fucking shame and guilt and every other fucking bad feeling. Do you know what I mean? I was consumed and I couldn't. And they were so good with me, like, do you know what I mean? They were pretending that we were in court, you know, helping me along. Here I was. I can't open my mouth for myself. How am I meant to go in and speak for my kids and fight, like, do you know what I mean? I didn't think I'd be capable of doing it, like. And in fairness, the judge gave me a chance, like. He didn't go for it, like. And he said, she's up in treatment. Do you know what I mean? See how we get on, like.
That's powerful, like. And look if they made
and it was
the wrong
Conor
decision.
Leary of all of them.
Yeah.
Do you know? And he would have seen me in the other courtroom plenty of time down through the years. Do you know what I mean? If it wasn't for fucking drunken disorderly or fucking assault or fucking theft. Do you know what I mean? I was always getting arrested for something. And if I wasn't getting arrested, my partner was getting arrested. And I'd be waiting outside and they would say to her, sure, what's wrong with you? The other one's outside waiting, like. Do you know? I tried to be there for her, like, because I suppose at the start, I was so messed up with myself because I wanted to drink. I brought this girl along with me. I was after falling for her, like, everything was up in the air, like, it was bad enough that I was after relapsing and now I'm swinging out a woman. I couldn't, I was so caught up in what other people thought of me. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted everyone to like me.
No.
Do you know, I really did, like, because I hated myself so much, like, do you know what I mean? I thought, if I would be nice to these people, like, do you know what I mean? It was like my different circles of friends were like my little family to me. Back then, like, do you know what I mean? I go from different groups to groups, like. I didn't think my family wanted me. Do you know what I mean? So I clung on to the friends, tried to make them happy. Do you know, but never thinking about myself. Always putting everyone else first. And I suppose I am actually a nice person. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't think it back then. Like, I just have a good heart. Like, I'd help anyone out. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because of our actions as well. Because of the way we're acting and behaving. Like, your kids were gone. We're robbing in the streets. We're doing drugs. We're selling drugs. We're fucking fighting. We're doing this and that. Of course. And then you have a belief maybe that you're no good and you're worthless. That's based on your childhood.
But that's instilling it more from everything that you're doing. And then you have the blackout, you can't remember. And then someone said, so what you did last night?
Of course you're going to believe you're no good.
Here we go again, like, here we go again.
Everything is going against you.
Yeah.
You know, but you only start realizing how good you are is when you stop. Your behaviours change. You're doing your best for your kids, for yourself, for other people around you. You're not hurting anybody anymore. That's when you start believing in yourself.
Even the first time I felt happy up in the treatment centre, you're like, wow, I've never, like, you know, had that happy feeling. And then getting messed up, going, oh my God, what's this about? Hold on to it. Yeah. You might not have it. That's what the
first thing that comes in then when there's something going to go wrong here, like.
That's the way I felt when I came back down to Cork.
Yeah.
I suppose, because all I knew was people on the streets using, you know. Came back down, I went into a recovery house out in Bishopstown, belonged to the Simon. And I used to be seeing people, I used to be avoiding them. Do you know what I mean? I suppose when I came back down to the meetings, I was comfortable up in Dublin.
You were in a bubble when you were in treatment.
I would have stayed up there only for the kids. Do you know what I mean? Because there's so much recovery up in Dublin as well. Like, do you know what I mean? And I had a good structure, I suppose, in my life. Do you know what I mean? And then coming back down here, I moved into the house. I had no structure at that time, like, so I ended up going out to doing the C scheme out in Bishopstown. It was out there, and then I moved up to Vincent's. I did a personal development course. I went back to college, something that I never thought I'd do, like, do you know what I mean? Going back into UCC, look at me, do you know? And I went in and I did 2 years of Youth and Community. And I suppose for the first 4 years of my recovery, it was all me. Do you know what I mean? Because I had that time. And then the kids started coming home. And I suppose things changed an awful lot. Like my oldest came home in the middle of lockdown. Like, I actually had to, because I wasn't driving at the time. No, he came home and I didn't want to change the schools because there was too much change going on from, like, so he stayed out in Greenmount and we got the bus over and back. And then when the other two were coming home, they were out in Tower. And I suppose getting the bus out there, like, or getting taxis was 500 and that fucking a week, like, which I didn't have. Yeah. So I went up to Clonmel and I did my theory test up there. And I went up to Kilkenny then and got my licence, like, you know.
Brilliant.
But I had to. There are things that I didn't think I'd be capable of doing at all, like. No. Like, even when I first came into recovery, even going shopping, even going into a shopping centre, like, do you know what I mean? You wouldn't be able to. You have to walk back, oh, it's too much,
you
like.
Think you don't fit in.
No, not at all.
Relate to that, yeah.
And the behaviours, the robbing and stuff.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
tough. Like, coming home, like, you had to realise, like, you go into a shop and you pay for what you have.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
You can't do it on Joy's terms.
Unfortunately. To me, no, and you'll be paranoid with your head.
Yeah.
You're so caught up in yourself. You're like, you think everyone's watching you.
All eyes on me, like.
Yeah.
You're like a child again, because you're learning everything, like, do you know what I mean? Because
everything.
Us as addicts, like, we all do what we want, like, do you know what I mean? We've no consequences, and even if we did, you don't take no notice, like. So it's like, I suppose that's why we need structure, like, the more than kids, you thrive off it, like, do you know?
And did you have somewhere to, did you get a home then for yourself with the children?
Yeah, I suppose I was out in the recovery house, and I was still linked in with the Simon, so I got a house through Galton, through Jerry, through them.
Yeah, I know Jerry well.
Yeah, it was actually a lovely place. It was down Sunday as well, you know, past the red little house, looking out onto the river. Oh, it was so peaceful. It was beautiful down there. And I suppose everything happens for a reason. Like, I was down there, and I remember I used to be going to my aftercare thinking, like, there'd be people in the meetings, right, and they'd be relapsing. They'd be getting visit with kids, this, that, whatever. And I wasn't getting none of that. And I was like, I thought things were never going to change. I thought it was going to stay like that. Like, I'd better off going out fucking using, and I'd probably see the kids fucking faster that way. I was thinking, like. But no, when I was down there, I was getting my first, I suppose, I went from seeing the kids down there, and then I got supervised visits out in Bishopstown through the social workers, and I got my first overnight out there. And then the kids were coming for their first Christmas Eve, and they were staying. And that morning, my key worker rang me. I was up in for a house, and she told me I was after getting the house. And then she told me, now you remember now, I'm buzzing already because kids are staying for Christmas Eve. My first time in years having them, like. And then she tells me I'm after getting the house. And then she tells me, you're going to view it on the 7th of January, my clean debt. Like, that's powerful, like, you know what I mean? And I was blown away, like, you know, it's the gifts that you get back, like, you get so much.
Right. You know what I get from that? I get, when you do good things happen.
Yeah.
And when you're doing well, and good people see that you're doing well, and they have the power to change your life, they will.
Yeah.
And I've seen it so many times when people change their lives. Good things happen because people want to help you.
But you know, for ages, I always would have thought, like, I would have changed so much. Do you know what I mean? Because I lost out on so much with the kids. Like, do you know what I mean? I would have changed so much. And I suppose the more I went on, I wouldn't. Because it made me resilient. Do you know what I mean? It made me hold on. I knew I didn't want to go back to where I came from. Like, do you know what I mean? I really didn't. Like,
And if one
and
thing
it made
changed,
me appreciate the kids as well, in a way. Like,
of course. And if
you
one,
know,
if
it was,
one,
I suppose me getting the kids back, they weren't handed back to me. Do you know what I mean? I had to put in the work. I had to fight from, like, and I suppose that's the only reason I came on this show. Actually, is to put out there, like, because
it's a powerful message.
a lot of people, like, do you know what I mean? The kids go into care, they're either using or whatever, like, do you know what I mean? And you feel like, I get the social workers for the kids. I do, I get it, that 100%. Do you know what I mean? But I feel, I suppose, for me back then, there's not enough support for the mothers. Do you know what I mean? And I think, you know, they kind of should go hand in hand. And I suppose if you're relapsing, do you know what I mean? You think things aren't going to change, and people give up.
Yeah.
People give up, like, do you know what I mean? Because after a certain period of time, like, do you know what I mean? They're like, leaving where they are. And I would have battled with that with myself, like, as I said, like, it was 8 years before my oldest came home and 9 years before the other two. Now, my oldest would have come at the drop of a hat, pined for me the whole time, like, with my son. I was debating, like, am I doing the right thing? Do you know what I mean? He's happy where he is. Yeah. And he was, like, do you know what I mean? They were well looked after, like, do you know what I mean? And plenty of love, like, do you know what I mean? There. But in the back of my mind, I was like, what if he is happy when he comes home? What if it does work out, like? And I suppose I would have had to whip out more if I didn't try. And it's after working out for me, like, he's happy now, like, do you know what I mean? Like, the way I always say to him, like, you're very lucky. You have 2 mothers in your life. Some people don't have no mothers at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's blessed that he have aunts that treat him like fucking, you know, their own.
And that's what I was going to get to there. I know you probably didn't have much of a relationship with your family growing up, okay? But I tell you, there's not many families who take 3 kids in either.
But they wouldn't, like, and I know that, and social workers have said that in the past, like, do you know what I mean? But I suppose it's coming from our background. Yeah. Like, we suffered an awful lot of loss, like, but as a family, when shit hits the shovel, we're there for each other.
You're fucking there for each other, and you show
they always, and they've picked up fucking bits and pieces of me down through the years. Do you know what I mean? My brother was always paying off fines. Always, like, when I was living there, the guards were down there all the time. I was living up in Harrington and I actually had no electricity. They cut me off. I was getting electricity off the neighbour next door and he paid the bill, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. He always there carrying my back, like. Yeah. But we do, like, the family is...
Have you more of a structured family relationship these days?
We do, like, yeah, definitely. Like, we're always, like, I'd always see my sisters.
Because the reason I ask is because we didn't really have that kind of bond either, as I said earlier. But today it's different. Today we see each other we talk to each other every day. We see each other every other day. Do you know?
But it's nice though, you need that. Like, do you know what I mean? As I said, like, all these friends that I thought I had, when she hit the fan, they weren't there, like.
And I suppose she had nothing in common anymore either. Because they're probably still, a lot of them probably still doing the wrong thing.
My mother used to always say that to me. Where would your friends be when you're locked up?
Yeah.
And I'd be both this and both that. She was right.
It's true though, yeah. You don't realise the importance of family, like.
I have good friends in my life and I still have old friends as well.
Yeah.
And tell me how Joy is today.
Huh?
How's Joy today?
Right this moment?
In general?
In general, I'm alright. I'm good, like, do you know what I mean? I've been struggling with grief, do you know what I mean? And I suppose it's just walking around that, like, not
grief is tough.
Old behaviours, do you know what I mean? Go back into myself, do you know?
Shutting off for isolation.
But, do you know what I mean? But, like, the past few months now, I've been trying to change that, do you know?
You're aware of it, like?
Yeah. My heart can't take it, like, I have to put in the work again. Yeah. I suppose I was putting all the work on Joy before the kids came home. And then the kids came home, do you know what I mean? And they slowly dwindled out, putting into Joy, like, do you know what I mean? So it's just about the action again, like, because I'm more than just a mother to the kids, like, and I find out well in myself, do you know what I mean? They're not going to be well, like, it's going to be a ripple effect. So I have to, like, do you know what I mean?
Have you ever thought of ever doing something around your own personal experiences and in relation to maybe helping people? Because, like, what you're after going through is something that a lot of people don't experience in their lives. but those that are experienced, they could do somebody with a voice like yours to be able to help them and express how they're
definitely,
feeling.
like, you know, that's why I did the youth and community. Like, originally I wanted to work with the youths, like, but it's the mothers. You know, I know from my life experiences, like, even when I went to UCC first, I was in there and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, and using all these big words, like, you know, in the first few weeks I felt like that. And then I was thinking, like, what I can bring to the table from just my life experiences. Like, if you go into someone, their life experiences are someone learned from a book. I know who I'm going to listen to. Someone, their life experience. We've more empathy for each other, like, you know what I mean? And that's what it is. Like, people don't realise, and they haven't walked in my shoes, for example, like, you know what I mean? So when you walk in someone else's shoes, like, you know what I mean, you're going to get the experience then.
And your experience, like, shows other people that there's hope, and that's what you're here for.
Yeah.
And I don't know, did I tell you this? The abbreviation for hope is hearing other people's experiences.
Yeah. And that's what else, because I was like, yeah, do it. And I was like, why did I say I do it? Like, you know what I mean? Fuck's sake. Like, but it's only just to show, like, you know what I mean, that you can turn it around. Do you know what I mean? There is light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what's going on, I feel like.
And you've overcome every single obstacle to getting your children back as well, which was addiction and homelessness and everything that goes with that life.
Of course.
And you're living proof that if you really stick at it, you will get whatever you want.
Whatever they suggested, I did. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Whatever they did, like, they suggested, I did. Like, I was a star pupil up there because I wanted it. I really wanted to give it a good go. Did I believe that I'd be capable of doing it? No. I really didn't, do you know? But, like, you keep putting into work, like, you know what I mean?
And how's everything now since you have the 3 kids back in your life?
Great. Like, we're getting on fucking all grand, like, they're teenagers, you know what I mean? So I'd be like, do I really want them back? You know?
They push your buttons, all right.
The hormones be up and down, like, you know, but it's amazing, like, and even my bond with my family, like,
that's powerful,
you know?
And it's great to
I
hear that.
I feel like a human being. Do you know,
like you're part of something.
You're part, like, you know, I mean, you're part of society, like, because when you're using, you're not. You're just existing. Well, I was just existing, do you know?
But you're existing now in a good way.
But I live in a that's what it is, way, though. Like,
you know, like,
there is. I have the choice. Like, do you know what I mean? I know. Like, even when my brother passed away, like, do you know what I mean? I didn't want to feel them emotions. Like, I really didn't. But I know where if I like take up a drink or a drug, it's game over. Like, my last relapse was fucking lasted 4 years, and it's not there for me. My head wouldn't be able to take it, and I don't want it. Alright, fair enough, sometimes I want to shut off the feelings, like, do you know what I mean? But I use food, I either eat too much, eat too little, the telly, do you know what I mean? There's all different fucking distractions, like. Yeah. But, like,
they're a lot better than the ones we used before.
I feel sad for myself.
Of course you
do you know what I mean? Like, and, like, I get reminders everywhere I go, like, and I see people that I would have used, but I talk to them, do you know what I mean? Give them money when I have it, like. Do you know, because it's not a nice place to be. No. It's really not, like, you know. And I suppose people judge it too much. Like, not everyone on the streets is from drinking drugs, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's society can look down on that as well, like.
Yeah. We just need to be more understanding.
It's more mindful, like, because it's a fine line with your mental health, and especially for a woman on the streets, like. Do you know, like, I've slept many a night out in that street, but I never slept. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? My partner would be fucking snoring next to me, but I'd be wide awake, like, because anything can happen, yeah. Anything at all, like, and the situations you're putting yourself into, do you know? It's an awful lot scarier for a woman than a man, like. Not all of them, like, but I know for me, like, there's been times, like, but you just have on the game face, do you know?
Like that rough and ready face, yeah.
That's basically, I'd run them, like, do you know what I mean?
And that's the only way.
I'd hurt you now before you fucking try and hurt me or anything, I mean.
And you have to kind of be that way when you're on the streets.
You have to. It's the only way to survive, like. People take advantage. People will take advantage. Do you know what I mean? I've seen it, like, taking your money. They take everything, like, do you know what I mean? Oh, she's paid there now on the Monday. You go and get it. And people do that, like, do you know what I mean? There's, I don't know.
Joe, you're a fucking absolute miracle. And I mean that. We all are.
Of course we are. But I always say that with meetings, like, we're blessed.
We don't really have too many women on with us. I've never had a woman on with, maybe before when I was doing the 2 hours with James, we have had one or two.
Yeah.
That was many podcasts down the line. But we don't. I'd love to have more women on with stories like yourself.
Yeah, you should.
Because I do try.
Yeah.
I do try, but it's a lot tougher for women to maybe to share their story, and that's why I
Of course it is,
think
because
you're
like
so
even
brave.
when I was asked, I was like, can I think about it? Like, do you know what I mean? And I was going up into the head and I was like, it's different to going into a meeting and sharing your story, because this is for everyone to see. And even thinking about my kids, like, do you know what I mean? Because kids are cruel as well. Do you know what I mean? And if they're watching it, like, and other people say something, but I turn around and say, but I survived that.
And
Do you know what I mean?
your mother is a fucking actual superhero for getting through what you have, you know, and that's my belief. Like, it's so, if anybody, like, we understand it. If people just knew how difficult it is to get away from that life, and to even just know that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
It's one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to do in my life was to get recovery from alcohol and drugs into my life, and then with my well-being, my mental health, that was a very tricky one as well.
But it's made, I always thought that as well as, now don't get me wrong, it's very, very hard trying to get clean. But it's even harder than coming into recovery. Do you know what I mean?
It's a tough one for me.
Because then, like, you're like,
being clean.
that's what it is, like.
Yeah.
But listen, is there anything else you want to go and have a chat about?
I don't think so.
You know, all good.
Oh, good, yeah.
Listen, it was an absolute pleasure, and I mean that.
Thanks very
Like,
much.
you're an like, I'm sitting here and you're a different moment to the woman I knew a long time
Yeah.
ago. Like, your confidence,
I was
your
a mover
strength,
back then.
but your strength, your
Yeah.
absolute fucking
But it's the only
strength.
thing that has carried me, like, do you know what I mean?
I
I've
could see it.
always, I didn't see it before, but
Yeah.
I always had that strength in me, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back then you don't see it. Like, I suppose when you come into recovery, I suppose, see all the different things. And I forget all that, like, do you know what I mean? It'd be when other people be saying to me and it rolls off, oh, I did that. And I'd be like, but you don't realise, do you know what I mean? Like, I just plods along. I do what I have to do, like, do you know what I mean? To keep me where I am at today.
Yeah. You're a survivor.
Mm.
Fair play. Thanks, Joy.
Thanks very much.
And thanks to
Stop.
everybody for listening. And if anybody has been triggered by anything that we've talked about tonight, you can contact us on the Long Way Back podcast Instagram. And we'll try to help you in any way we can. So I just want to really thank Joy again for her honesty and allowing herself to be vulnerable here.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get more women on.
Oh, definitely.
You know, to have a
Plenty
chat
out
with them.
there.
You know, so
Yeah.
listen, thanks again from myself, Tommy, Joy, and Connie, and the Long Way Back podcast.
Joy.
Thanks, Sam.
God bless everybody. Bye bye.